Okay, good evening, World Coin Talk community. Tonight we have an AMF equity coin here to speak about the project. On the team is Dookie Jones, Lady Ninja, Deathwing, and Diesel. So yeah, if we could just maybe start with a bit of your background in crypto, Dookie Jones, that'd be great.
So for me personally, I have been trading crypto on and off since you could mine Bitcoins with a CPU. It's been quite a while. The rest of the team, we've got about 30 years or so of experience in crypto between all of us. So I think everybody has been in the BSC space just about since it started, actually.
Yeah, so we're going into you're looking at it as an investment opportunity, a bit like storing your money in a bank, but at a lot higher interest rates. So yeah, if we could maybe go over the tokenomics, there's a 20% tax, and that pays out in BUSD reflections for investors. Yeah.
So it pays out in BUSD by default, but the way we have it set up, you can actually choose any Binance Smart Chain coin you want as long as it has a BNB trading pair.
Yeah, and then you've got like how it works. Yeah, with that 20%, 100% of the tax is paid out to the holders. Have you done that into the contract? Have you looked into if that's going to be sustainable for the long term?
So yeah, it's going to be sustainable for the long term. The Some people worry about the lack of an LP tax, but it's not something that we actually need because to pay the rewards, we sell equity back to the LP constantly to fund that BNB. So the if you break it down and think about it, the reality of the tax situation is as follows. You have a 20% buy, a 20% sell, a 0% wallet to wallet. All of that is returned to the holders as reflections. However, it's also all an LP tax because it all ends up back in the LP in the first place. And it's also a dev tax, and it is also a marketing tax, as the dev wallets and the marketing wallet hold our coin. They hold equity. And we fund everything just through the reflections on that. So those wallets are actually locked by the contract from buying, selling, or transferring equity in or out.
But then the reflections can be used from them wallets. Do they go to a different wallet, or how does that work?
So the marketing wallet is it's a Gnosis safe. Requires three out of 4 team members to sign off on any of the transactions that come in and out of that. And then we have a secondary like staging market wallet where we can make transactions. We'll move small amounts over to that and be able to pay everybody without having to interrupt 3 out of the 4 team members to sign a transaction. It's actually a pain in the butt to get those funds out of that safe.
But you always hold like 5% for the team and 5% marketing, and then the reflections is what you use for marketing and LP and promotions. Yeah.
Exactly. So the team members, we each have a wallet that's 12,500 coins. That's totally in control of each individual team member, except for the no buy, sell, or transfer restriction that's built into the contract.
Great. So yeah, if we can go over how it's going to work for investors, and how much BUSD you paid out over the first 12 days of the project, and the private and pre-sale, how much was raised before launch?
So we raised about 94,000, or sorry, no, 94 BNB in the private sale. It was 510 BNB in the pre-sale. We did 50% of that towards marketing, or sorry, 49% to marketing, 51 to the LP. Are currently, give me just a second to pull the dashboard up. Our current payout so far, paid to all holders, is $393,637.27 in BUSD.
Nice. In 12 days. Wow. So we had
Yes.
the dough here last night. I think they paid out $637,000 in cake in 4 months. So you've reached half that in 12 days. Amazing.
Yeah. So
So
if the market hadn't taken the downturn that it took and our volume hadn't dropped off, that we'd probably be over 500,000 already. Because we hit
and you,
250,000. I think it was like 3 or 4 days. It was really fast.
wow, and you've had security audits done on the equity coin, yeah.
Yes, we've had a security audit done on the coin and the reflection tracker token. We had a little error in our version 1 reflection tracker token, so we V2'd that. Didn't affect the coin and the contract itself at all, but we also had that audited as well.
Are you planning any NFT series or anything else linked to equity coin apart from the huge rewards?
So we're not going to be wasting money on any kind of fads or trends in the markets, like NFTs or swaps or debit cards or anything else that happens to come up. We're not completely ruling out stuff like that. We may do small one-off things with different NFT creators, either be it just for advertisements themselves or like a very small collection, as a kind of a marketing deal. But it's not something that we're in particular looking at, because in the long run, stuff like that doesn't tend to really pay off for the holders of the coin. And everybody else that's out there that's doing it, that's doing a way better job than we could ever do with it makes more sense for the community, the whole crypto community, for us to work with them and do something with them to make a partnership. Like Safe Moon Wallet, for example, is it's a good example of a wallet and a swap that'll be upcoming. You have tons of really good NFT creators out there. You have stuff like Ape Swap. Those guys they're out there doing a really good job providing a really good service for what they plan to provide it for. And for us, we're doing the same thing with the basically like a savings account or a savings bond, but we're paying out way more interest than anything like that could ever actually get you.
Okay, great.
Even though it's the reflections aren't interest, but
Are you planning on going to Coin Market Cap? Have you already hit there, and are you looking at central exchanges in the future?
so we've already applied for Gecko and Coin Market Cap. We're not paying for the fast track service on those. Stuff like that tends to kill coins in their infancy, because it brings them volume that they're just not ready to handle. And we're just going to let it happen organically. It's not really that big of a transaction count or a holders count that you need to reach to be able to do it.
That's a good way. Yeah, the fast tracks. It's just a pump, and then yeah, everyone sells when it hits Coin Market Cap. So it's not good for long-term
Exactly.
investment. And what's the marketing plans going forward? What you're doing to get the equity coin out there and promote this 20% BUSD rewards, which is huge in crypto on BSC.
Yeah, so we're out there all over Twitter, all over Telegram, doing it. This is the second AMA for today. We've got ads on PooCoin and BSC Scan. Currently, Dex Tools ads don't really make good financial sense for us because they're so expensive. It's like $20,000 a month to do that.
And I can open it up to the rest of the team if we've got any questions for the equity team here. And Dookie Jones.
Hey Glenn, yeah, I just wanted to ask, like, what sort of new utilities, or where do you see, like, where do you want to take this? Like, what's the next step? Because, yeah, it's nice to have like a lot of investors, and I know people love reward coins and all that, but sometimes you got to do some hand holding for some of these investors. So I'm just curious, like, what sort of route are you taking? Are you moving towards, I don't know, some more staking, or towards the NFT part, or towards to, I don't know, integrate other protocols or some partnerships, something like that?
So we do have a plan for the future that we're not quite ready to talk about just yet. The simple fact of the matter is that with the trust that we've built up in our community, it would be really easy for a scammer to slap something together and get it out there in a couple of hours, and our community might see that and just jump on it and be scammed. So we're not putting that out there just yet. As far as staking goes, it's not a good idea for our coin. You lose out on the reflections while the coins are staked, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do. We're not just this one BSC token, but we do have plans. We're just not ready to talk about all of that yet. Projecting that all to be ready by like the end of February. We'll be talking a lot more about that soon, though.
All right. So yeah, the answer was yes. You do have a plan to move this in some direction, but you, I don't
yes.
know.
So
maybe like a
the
hint or
end
something.
goal.
Is it going to be sort of a dApp, or I don't know?
So we already have the DApp dashboard up and ready. It's running, ready to go. You can change your reflections token right there. You can see everything. Like that's where I pulled the number from for how much has been paid out so far just now. But the end goal for us is to have an extremely stable price. So what that'll do, so you want to say save $10,000 for a couple of weeks. So you take your $10,000 and you buy equity and you hold on to it until you've paid that 40% back to yourself in the reflections, and then you can take that $10,000 back out. And when we're that stable in the LP, it's not going to affect the price that much. So that's the whole point of it. We don't want that price to be swinging 60-80% so that swing traders are in here making money out of it and, just taking all of the money out of the LP. What it's for is that savings. Like that's the main point of it all.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Do you have like some special mechanisms, or I don't know, some plans to implement something that will actually keep the LP steady?
So that's all basically done with the payout of the rewards, keeping tokens in the LP, and the very limited number of tokens that there are. I mean, it's 1 million coins. That's it. Your price is derived from the US dollar value of the one coin. So for BNB in our example, versus the value of the amount of equity tokens that are in the LP. So you just divide equity by USD amount, and that gives you price per token. So the less equities in the LP and the more BNB, the more the token is worth for each individual one. And when you're in a situation like that, $10,000-$20,000 just doesn't really move the price either way that you go. Not a huge amount at any rate.
Right.
Okay. We expect this to be similar to a stable coin in the future.
Okay, I see. But yeah, I mean to make it as close as possible to a stable coin, I don't know, because you do have an LP holding. So if the prices of the two underlying assets fluctuate, there's not an easy way to actually create a stable price. But yeah, I understand what you're trying to say with the supply to market cap and the holdings. Okay, yeah, thank you.
So if you're thinking about this in terms of a coin out there, that's got trillions or quadrillions of supply, that BNB effect is going to be hugely magnified when the coin is dipping. If we look at the chart now, So we would probably be in the $2.25 range if the price of BNB had not, collapsed basically over the weekend. But if you look at another coin out there, like let's take Baby Doge for example, they got a huge LP. They've dropped what? Almost 50% of their most recent run up, probably just in the price of the BNB changing. So that's a pretty big difference percentage wise based on just how many tokens there are in total in the LP.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I know, like the meme coins and everybody that's putting out a coin and they want it to moon, they just churn out a huge amount of them, maybe do some burns as well and all that, and then just slap in a few BNB or whatever, and yeah, like the price action pushes it hard, fast, up fast, but then once it crashes, it just crashes just as fast. Yeah.
Yeah, so and that's the thing. It's that stability that's there because there are not a lot of tokens. So the price
Yeah,
right now
I get it.
there's
It's
more.
an
Right now
interesting
there's
way
more in the
of
LP
doing
that
it.
yeah. So that's what we're looking at right now. The reflections and the passive income in this early stage are the things that that make this happen and make you want to invest in it and make you want to buy it. The early people who come in when we're at this low price, they're going to have a huge advantage, down the road if they hold on to it that long, because the price of the token, it is going to go up. We're not looking at something that's continuously going to stay at the dollar range. We're looking at something that's probably going to be pushing up 3 digits at some point, maybe even 4. The way that I did the math on everything and kind of putting it all together and projecting what the value could end up being and seeing what we needed to do with these reflections, that's where we're looking at it. Something like maybe 25 million in volume at the maximum. But at that point, you're probably going to be looking at $1,250 a coin.
Yeah,
So if
right. Well,
we're
you did
holding,
mention like
if I'm
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, he mentioned like the amount of rewards that have been paid out. So you've probably seen like a lot of volume move through it, and that's what you're actually looking for with this kind of thing. Yeah, you want volume, you want
Exactly.
people trading, you want people
Exactly.
engaged.
Exactly. So it is set up for the way people trade. So you are perfectly safe to buy a green candle and sell a red one with this coin as long as you have held it long enough to recover what you're going to lose by doing that. So
Yeah.
let me throw my wallet here. So just in reflections, a pre-sale wallet is up about 110% right now. Just in reflections alone, the entire initial investment covered plus 10% profit, plus whatever the price of the coin is now is profit.
Yeah, it looks
And that's
interesting, especially that there aren't a lot of holders. I think there's probably less than 1,000 holders. I haven't checked, but it doesn't look like
less than 1,000. Yeah, still less than 1,000. That's the benefit in what we're talking about here. If you want to come in and trade this thing purely based on the price action of the coin, you can do it early, but you're not going to be able to do it too much later. You'll be able to come in and throw your money in here over the weekend while everything is going down, and it'll basically stay the same price-ish, and you'll recover your taxes after, 3 or 4 days if the volume is up. Obviously, a bad market as it is now, you're not going to recover those taxes as quick because there's just no volume. The projected turnaround in a normal market to recover your entire investment is between 10 to 20 days.
That's pretty
I don't
good.
think,
Yeah. Is there like a calculator that you have up in the DApp or anything like that for people to see this? Because yeah, I imagine it can be attractive to to a lot of people if they can do their own math.
Yeah, so we show you how much you have paid out currently, or how much you have been paid currently, excuse me, and we show you what is pending in the app. One thing that we are working on is getting a calculator up on like the main part of the website, so you can play with the numbers on your own, put stuff in, play with different volume levels and different coin and whatever, and get all these numbers that you want out of it. We've got a spreadsheet right now that's available on the Telegram if anybody wants to do that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I know some reward tokens used to do this when they had it like on their front page. You go in there, it's like, hey, how much would you like to put in? It's like this. Okay, you'll get it back in, I don't know, 2 weeks, and you're getting this amount per day, and then you could play with the amount of money that goes in and out, and you can, I don't know, like extrapolate your own gains.
Awesome, yeah. We've got some questions coming from investors.
Exactly.
How is the payouts done? Is it manually on the website or automatic? And is it like every 24 hours? How does it work for investors?
So it's paid out automatically, or you can go to the website or BSC scan and claim it yourself. The way it works, so you make a transaction and we charge extra gas. Gas roughly is $1.50 or so right now with our contract with the current market's gas rate. Your transaction will happen, be it a buy or sell, whatever it is that you're doing, and that additional gas is used to pay the gas to pay out the reflections to other people. So right now we're paying something like 8 to 10 people out each transaction. It works on a list. We start at the top of the list with the lowest holder and work our way down to the biggest holders. So basically the little guy ends up getting paid first. The devs only get paid last.
And we've got a question coming in from Aisha. You have a question for Dookie Jones at the Equity Coin project.
Yeah, thanks, Ken. Okay, I want to ask that what is the maximum amount of equity coins one can buy and hold? And can you explain a bit about user selectable coin? I mean, will holders receive rewards of their own choice, or they will receive only USDT or Ethereum? Thank you.
Okay, so by default, you will receive BUSD. If you change the coin, which you just go to our dashboard and put a contract address in, just like PancakeSwap, you will receive that coin. The dashboard will continue to tell you the US dollar value of whatever it is that you have received, however. And as far as the maximum amount that you could buy and hold, I mean, if somebody really wanted to do it, they could accumulate 900,000 of the coin or so. They wouldn't be able to get that last little bit because it's locked in the dev and the marketing wallet. I don't think that's something that anybody is really going to want to do. It's going to cost them a whole lot of money, and they're not like they're going to be paying themselves the reflections. So it's not something that people would want to do. People will want to move in and out of the coin and trade the coin. It's just the way the market works, and that's the way we have set everything up. And the folks who will benefit the most from that are the people who hold the coin. You don't need to hold it forever to continue to get those benefits. Eventually, the price of the coin will change enough that you're going to want to sell it. So there's always a reason for transactions to happen, and there's always going to be volume.
Okay, thank you for answering. And I also want to know that it's mentioned on your white paper that your development team has 4 members and all are certified diamond heads. I want to ask that, do you know them personally? Personally, how guys do you met, and do you live in the same country or different countries? Thank you.
So we're all actually very good friends. I do know Diesel in real life. None of the rest of us have met personally yet. We've spent quite a bit of time building and moderating different communities for different coins over the last several months. We're all just really good friends.
Okay, thank you, and best of luck for your project. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
David Joy, you had a question. The Equity Coin team.
Yeah. Hello, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. So, my question is about the market. So, as you can see now, so the market is pretty down, and all market is bleeding at the moment. So, I'd like to know, how do you guys plan to break through all this, and what are your plans? Because with the breakdown in market right now, you see it has affected many other projects, and even there are some projects that are afraid to launch, but your project is already launched and you guys are moving forward. But I know it must have affected your project in some way or the other. So I'd like to know, what are your plans to make sure that if such things occur, maybe another time, you guys are going to break through from it. So that's my question.
So it was like I said earlier, we planned for things like this to happen with the amount of coins that we minted and the amount that we put into the liquidity pool. So our price is more stable than the price of other coins right now, simply due to those numbers of tokens. In the future, as the LP grows on the BNB side and shrinks on the equity side, that effect will be magnified, and it will be even less of an effect on the LP as the price of BNB fluctuates. The one thing that we can't really control in any way or do anything about, other than our advertising, is whether or not people are buying the coin, and that's just the normal market pressures. Basically, I can't blame anybody right now for not buying BSC tokens. The smart money is to put into stuff like BNB while it's this low, and just wait a couple of days for it to go back up, and then you've made a big profit. You can put it into whatever you wanted and get a much better position. So it's the smart plays in the market. You got to plan for those too, and a lot of times your token not having any of the volume is the way that you plan for that. The BUSD rewards are another part of planning for that. If you haven't really spent any of them, you've got a whole bag of dry powder sitting around right now, ready to go to buy these dips and to get these coins.
Yeah, like looking at the chart, so I think the current market cap is still stabilized. So I really like your answer, and thank you for that. Thank you very much.
Yes, our current market cap has only fallen about $400,000 with with this current dip in the last like 20, 30-ish hours or so.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, no problem.
How are you looking to compete with other reward tokens? I know Tiki's been out about 9 months. I was part of the Ghostface project as a mod in the VC. Unfortunately, the devs were quite lazy and weren't producing what they said they would, and that disappeared, I think, in the end. But Tiki's still around, and a few of the others. How are you going to compete against them? Yeah.
So we have an actual funding plan for the project, and that's where a lot of developers fall short. We don't need to sell our coins to fund any of the marketing or anything. So we're always going to be able to market. We will always have the money to run ads. We will always have the money to hire influencers and pay for Twitter and Telegram and all that junk. So that it's not an issue that we expect to run into too much. I mean, if we have an extended period of downtime in the market, yeah, we're going to see a lot lower volume, but we will also, scale things back so that it actually makes sense. We're not going to waste money on, a $20,000 ad campaign in the middle of a down market. That's just not smart.
And Chris 88, you had a question for the equity team. Dookie Jones.
Yeah. Hey, Dookie. I have two questions. First thing is, why 1 million tokens? Why not 36,666 like Yon Finance? Or is it because it's just a nice round number? Or
quite literally because it's a nice round number, makes the math easy for everybody. We could have done less. We could have done a little more. But the number's nice and round. It makes the math easy. People like that nice round number math.
Okay. All right. The next thing is I have a scenario, where I think the tokens utility later on would show in a better light, in the sense that, say you have a truck for sale and I ask you how much it costs and you say it costs about 1,000 equity coins. So I say, do you want equity or do you want Dogecoin? And you say, I want equity coin. The reason you'd choose equity is because you would get reflections as a token holder, right? As compared to Dogecoin or even Bitcoin. I mean, you don't get any kind of reflections for those two coins. But an equity coin, every time there's a transaction made, you get a 20% kickback on just holding those coins. So that's the reason the incentive would be there for you to choose equity.
Exactly. So if let's say you take it in another coin that doesn't have any sort of a tax structure to it, like BSC coins do. Well, you're going to get what you paid for, and you're going to pay the network fees there. With us, not only do you get what you pay for, you hang on to it a little bit, but you also get your network fees back, you get the tax back, and you can make profit if you just sit on it.
Cool. Yeah, sounds good. I just want to say the simplicity of this project is the genius of this project. It's really brilliant. It's just so simple, but still there's so much oomph in it.
So we've all heard the teach a man to fish expression. You give him a fish, you feed him for a day, you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime. Well, with equity, it's kind of sort of like that. You pay him, but it continues to pay the person. And it's all about how long they decide that they want to hold it until they want to take that money out. It's the same thing with savings accounts, savings bonds, any other investment. You want it to grow in a fashion that is going to give you some sort of a profit on it. And you'll see that every couple of hours with us when we're doing normal volume. You'll get that reflection back in your wallet in BUSD or whatever else it is you decide you want.
Well said. Thank you, sir.
Akshaj, you had a question for Dookie Jones?
Yes, sir. My question was, can you tell us what's the main targeted user base of equity? Is it like businesses, corporates, developers, or any other? And also, which all services will be provided by equity to them?
So the first part of that, it sounded like you had your microphone covered up. Could you repeat the question?
Yes, sir. My question was, what's the main targeted user base of equity? Is it like businesses, corporates, developer, or any other? And also, which all services will be provided by equity to them?
So the token is mostly built for your average investor to be able to have a safe harbor to put their money into when the markets are down or over the weekend, or if they decide that they want to make passive income, it's also a good place to get that as well. Uh, I don't think that we can actually target it any further than we are already targeting it now. Because I mean, we are basically laser focused on one simple thing.
Great. And we'll move on to Last Kempachi. You had a question for the equity team? Yeah, Last Kempachi.
I think Ben said that the beauty of the projectors is too simple and too good. Like really, I wish I had seen this before. But the thing is, what it's really too simple to ask any absurd questions in this. What I was why did you name this as equity? Though the everything related to the on the side is related to a bull. Like, does it has any relevance to you? The things that pretty cool logo, but
So,
makes relevance to each other, equity and the bull. Thank you.
yeah. So the bull obviously is that imagery is pervasive in the investment space for people who want the market to go up, and equity as a name it's symbolic of a thing that gives you value. And that's why we chose it.
That's pretty simple
The
as well. Thank you.
The bull logo, our artist Nasty just absolutely killed that. I said something along the lines of, like, I'm thinking some bullish imagery and we like black and white minimal. He came back with that on like the first go. Just perfect. Everything has just been amazing from the artist.
Obviously, pretty good graphics, man. Good luck to that guy as well, and thank you for answering that. Thank you.
Yeah, he posts all kinds of cool stuff that he's doing on the side and his own artwork and stuff on our Telegram. So anybody, feel free to come on by if you just want to check out Nasty's art.
Nice. Simi, you have a question for Duke Jones, equity.
Yes, thanks, Glenn. So you covered pretty much everything through the questions and through your presentation. I still have one or two questions. So, in terms of gaining stability around the pricing, unless it's pegged to USDT in this volatile market, how can people have confidence that the value of their investment will not go down?
So we're actually using BUSD, not USDT, as that default reflection token. The BUSD.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm talking about your LP is pegged to BNB. It's not to any stable coin. Still to not to a stable coin, and with this depreciating value of BNB, and how would you? The way I'm looking at it, if it was pegged to USDT in this volatile market, you would have seen less downturn or the volatility in the price action.
Yes, so we realize that, and that's one of the things that we did plan for with the tokenomics on the coin and how many there were and what was in the LP. If you look at the dip in the price of BNB over the last about a day and a half, it is a much higher percentage of a dip than we have lost off of the market cap of our coin. We've lost less than I think it's less than 8%. I have to do the math right now off of our market cap, whereas BNB has dropped almost 35%. So we're pretty stable. We're doing pretty good with that. And as more BNB enters into that LP, that price stabilization will be have a greater effect.
Okay. Thanks. I have another question. So we are pretty much in the bear market. So what experience you guys have in your previous projects in this space? Because the market correction will continue to happen at least for next couple of weeks or months. So what experience you bring into this current project? regarding bear market survival in the bear market?
So the bear market survival is it's mostly about trimming away the extraneous costs in your advertising and your operating, and we're already pretty minimal on that right now due to the market itself. You have to kind of be frugal, and you have to have your community expect that, yes, the market is going to be down. Everything is down. The price of the coin is down. The volume is down. We know there's only so much that we can do with that. Part of it is you have that retail investor effect of people who really don't know what they're doing, who will just kind of blindly follow into one coin or another, on the heels of whatever influencer it is that they choose to follow. You're seeing some stuff like that now. There's a couple coins out there that have pumped a couple 1,000% in the last couple of days, and that it's one of those market effects that there's really no predicting that. There's no bringing it to you. There's no stopping it from coming to you. It's just one of those things that there's nothing you can do about it.
Right.
Believe me, we would love to be able to bring that to us, but it's so difficult to figure out what that next trend is. That it's a thing people have been chasing for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Right. Okay, thanks for answering my question. Best of luck.
Sure.
Okay, and Kennedy Lowkey, you had a question. You there, Kennedy Lowkey? You've got a question for Dookie Jones? Are you there? No, let's move on then. Starlight, you had a question for Dookie Jones? Equity coin? No? Everyone's got hands up and they're not there. Let's have a look at Celeb A. You had a question for Dookie Jones.
Yeah, I do have a question. I've been watching your project and it's really, really amazing. But I want to bring your I want to bring your notice to some recent projects out there and in regards to the investors and how they how the reason why they want to invest on the project. Now the truth is the BS space is becoming with lots of scam projects and lots of people are scared to invest their money, into a project. So I want to know the reason why you decided to launch a project in the BS space, not maybe Ethereum, and other network here.
So the reason that we decided to start in the BSC space is the amount of experience that we have with BSC in general. We know what it takes to show the community that we're not out there to scam anybody. We know what the community wants to see. We know how the gas works on it. It's a good place to get started because you can basically take your contract off of BSC onto almost every other blockchain out there. Like Ethereum, we're a DeFi coin, a pure DeFi coin. So that means that we are only going to be traded on places like Uniswap on Ethereum. That's a $150 gas fee in most situations that I don't want to pay that. I know you guys don't want to pay that. So that it's not one that we really looked at. The amount of investors that are also in the BSC space, that's another big thing that we were thinking about there. It does a lot of volume. There are a whole lot of people that invest in BSC.
Awesome. But do you have any plan maybe in the future to to go to a different network, to take your project to a different network?
We definitely have future plans. The future plan that we have is not something that we want to talk about right now because the amount of trust that our community has with us, a scammer could throw this together in like 5 minutes as a scam token and our people would see it and they would just go buy it in APIN and get scammed. to do it right requires way more effort than it does to do it as a scam. So it's not something that we're talking about yet.
Awesome, awesome. Nice project. I wish you success along the way.
Thank you, sir.
Great. We've run out of times for questions. We always say we can get you safely over to the official Equity Coin Telegram if you have any questions after the AMA. And anyone listening to the recording, if you talk to us in the text chat, we can get you there. There's been a lot of people joining now while we've been talking, Dookie Jones. So, Dookie Jones, should I say. So, yeah, if we could just maybe do a recap over the Equity Coin project and what's happening into the future.
So as a quick recap, I guess, we're a rewards-based token with an eye to be very stable in price. The goal is that you would use us as sort of a savings bond or a savings account. You would recover, all of your taxes through the transaction, through the reflections. The plans for the future, again, like I said, it's not something that we really want to talk a whole lot about as far as the next step that we're doing. But as far as marketing, advertising, that's something that's constantly going on. We have a very good funding plan for all of this. We're not likely to run out of money anytime at all, ever. It gets paid. The marketing gets paid through the reflections, just like the holders do. The devs get paid just like the holders do through the reflections. So we're always going to be here.
Yeah, it seems really interesting for investors. Very high interest, 20% of the USD rewards. If the volume can be stable, yeah, into the future, it'll be a great project for investors to get involved with today or in the future, definitely. Well, thanks very much for the team coming today, and Dookie Jones. It's been great speaking to you.
Yeah, thanks. And I just want to say again, you don't need to be scared of that tax, and the developers don't get paid unless the holders get paid, and we actually pay the holders before the developers.
Okay, that's great. Great to know. Okay, I'll finish the record and send a copy over for you to share with your community, and good luck into the future with the Equity Coin project.